Well, thank you for coming tonight. For all the wrestlers in the house, I want you to know I can be sure that all the coaches were patted down. None of them have whistles tonight. And for Pequannock alum, Coach Spencer got an extra little touch. He doesn't have any index cards that say shark bait or super poops on them, so we're good. Coaches LaPaglia, Michelle, Posey, you guys are here. Please stand up. New season competition with the Pequannock wrestling team. Please stand up. We wish you all a happy and healthy season. Current wrestlers, we collectively applaud you for having the courage to participate in the oldest and toughest sport known to man. The lessons learned, friendships and bonds garnered will last you a lifetime. I'll guarantee you that. Parents of wrestlers, you're a special breed to support a wrestler. The highs are high, and the lows, well, yet they're low. A job well done by you folks, supporting wrestlers. And to the unsung heroes of any thriving wrestling program, the volunteers who work the snack stand. You can't forget about those people, all right? Their efforts are limitless. The Pequannock Friends of Wrestling, an organization that's been around for as long as I've been involved. Thank you for your work and partnership in allowing us to honor a wonderful and deserving man this evening. The Pequannock Wrestling Hall of Fame Committee. In typical wrestler fashion, because we're taskmasters, we came up with a nominee, inducted him, picked a time and date, and before you knew it, we had an event tonight with approximately 300 people here, with over 7 decades of wrestling experience. I'd like to acknowledge the many people that traveled from out of state tonight. I know Indiana's in the house, Georgia, Florida, Connecticut, North Carolina, New York. Who did I miss?
Michigan.
Michigan. Who else?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Right on.
Kentucky.
Say it.
Kentucky.
Kentucky. All right. Thank you. Appreciate all of you. If I call your name or you fall to a category I mentioned, please stand and remain standing. Coach Rudy Burns. Coach Glenn Smith, if you're here, please stand. Coach Mike Blakely. Ronnie Jones, a.k.a. Jonesy. James Seaford, Pompton Knights. If you're a Hall of Fame inductee, please stand. Hall of Fame inductees, please stand. One and only national champ, Frank Croce's in the house. Frank, please stand. Davis Viola, All-American, Kane College. Davis is on his way, I know what's going on. Tom Fazio, Lakewood State champ. All right, Tom. It was basically the equivalent of a 1930s bathing suit and wrestled the match. Please stand up. All wrestlers, please stand up.
Yeah.
Great job. You guys can take a seat. We want to keep those legs fresh. You never know what the night's going to be. All right. Now, for the man among men, I want to thank the Spencer family, the rock star wife he has Addie of 48 years. Daughter Michelle, son Paul, for allowing us to share this wonderful man with you that you call husband, father, grandfather, to George and Logan, and George the son-in-law, who I just met, a wonderful man. Michelle and Paul, you guys spent a few hours on Pequannock mats while Coach was putting us through practice. I remember those days. To us, he's Coach or Spence, but the love is the same, I can assure you. All right, so, Coach Spencer, where did he come from? The other side of the Hudson, the body of water too that splits us into the Sound, Long Island Sound, Half Hollow Hills High School, 1969 graduate. standout wrestler, and lacrosse player. From there, he transitions over to Maritime College in 1970. Small university, stellar wrestling program, wrestled the likes of Iowa and Iowa State back then. Not much difference between D3 and D1 back then, other than size. Quality wrestling was still the same. Tells me the other day, he has to do a 6-week stint out at sea as part of his commitment to Maritime College. Comes home after 6 weeks, the house he lived in is no longer owned by his parents. All right? Comes home after 6 weeks at sea. House is still there, his family's gone. He doesn't know where they are, pretty selfless. Luckily, he sees a real estate agent, she empathizes with him, and lets him stay there until he can relocate with his family. That's just the grit that a wrestler can endure. All right, coach transitions from there. He goes to Montclair State, 72, 73, and 74. The All-American in 1974. And anybody that knows anything about Montclair State's wrestling history, they consistently competed against and beat Division I schools. After college, New York Athletic Club for post-collegiate career, where Coach won multiple Olympic qualifying tournaments. Multiple. Then transitioned to his first coaching job at Union Community College from 74 to 75. Then he went on to Kane College. We're going to leave Pequannock to the end. Went on to Kane College in 88 to 95, where he had 14 All-Americans. One national champ, one runner-up, and one third. Not only did Coach develop wrestlers while at Kane, he saved one of his wrestlers by administering life-saving measures to Mike Wicker, who had a spinal cord injury while competing at the Wilkes Open. Folks, this is on Rescue 911 if you want to YouTube it, all right? True story. From Lakeland, Coach transitioned into Lakeland High School from 1996 to 2008, where, as I mentioned earlier, he had a state champ and a place winner. Currently coaching at West Guilford with his college roommate, college teammate, and one tough guy like him, Mike Blakely, where he still coaches now. Other coaching accolades that probably a lot of people don't know about. Coach Spencer started the Pequannock boys soccer team here. Started it. I just felt it existed forever. He actually physically started it. And I see a bunch of soccer players in here. And I thank you for coming. This is about Coach started the program in 77, coached through 88, and had a tally of 99 wins when he retired from coaching soccer in 1988. 99 wins. Coached the Pequannock girls soccer team for over 15 years. Pequannock track and field for over 30. The guy knows a little something about coaching. What are people saying that talk about coaching? With the help of my Hall of Fame committee, we were able to find some quotes from different people. The legendary coach at Montclair State, Coach Steve Stronger, a.k.a. Strap, who was not only his teammate, but also his roommate. He said, in addition to being a top-notch wrestler, Craig was an all-conference midfielder in lacrosse while at Montclair State. Not too many dual-sport athletes in college, folks. You don't see it that much in high school anymore, let alone college. Jim Jeffries, where you at, Jim? Wave your hand. All right. So, I spoke to Jim before the other night before tonight, and so I have the approval to speak about this. Jim shared a story with me, and I wanted more background on it. Jim's born with no legs, adopted into a family of 9 children, 7 of which were disabled. He said his freshman year, he's in the weight room working out. Coach Spencer comes in with the wrestlers so they can hit the weights. Coach Spencer sees him and says, "Hey, you should wrestle." He says, I wasn't sure if he was serious, so I didn't really know what to say. I said, "Okay, so he just asked you to wrestle?" And he says, "No, he urged me to wrestle." So he feels he was an amazing coach. I felt he really understood me, these are quotes, especially my disability. In fact, it was never an issue. He broke many barriers. He had a positive influence on me. I don't even think he was aware of the influence he had. He saw me as a person, never saw my disability, and always encouraged my ability. That's a great job, Jim, and Coach, you were onto inclusivity before it was a household term. And that's why you're here. Tom Fazio, I mentioned before, 2005 state champ Lakeland High School. Had the privilege of wrestling for Spence from 01 to 05. Incredibly knowledgeable about the sport, always put his athletes first. Whether he was finding the best competition in the practice room or the most competitive tournaments, always put me in the best situation to succeed. The successes of myself and teammates were a direct result of Coach Spencer's ability to break down the sport in a way that helped both the wrestlers with experience and the ones that were brand new. And I know I saw that personally because I was brand new to the sport as a freshman. And I got as much time as the guys with all the experience. Joe Tredicosta, current AD at West Guilford High School. Coach Spencer has been providing his wrestling and life expertise to the West Guilford community for the past 15 years. His technical knowledge of the sport has helped us earn national recognition this past year. Spence has accumulated many accolades during his wrestling coaching career, but the greatest one is the title of coach. That title means so much to him. It represents the respect that he and his athletes have for each other. Over his wrestling, soccer, and track coaching career, he's coached and mentored many young men and women, not only to be successful in their sport, but in life. And folks, when this announcement went out on social media about a month ago, the number of people that poured in with comments on social media about, hey, I wasn't even a wrestler or a soccer player, but the man taught me lessons in gym class that I still carry with me today. Brian Silopine, the current AD at Pequannock. Brian, thank you for your partnership tonight. You've been nothing but a pleasure to work with. I asked Brian about Coach Spencer. Coach Spencer has made a profoundly positive impact as a coach at Pequannock Township High School, leaving a lasting mark on both the athletic programs he has coached and the lives of his players. Through his unwavering dedication to fostering a supportive and inclusive team environment, Coach Spencer not only cultivated the culture of sportsmanship, but has also instilled important life values in his athletes. His coaching style goes beyond the mat or the track, emphasizing the development of character, resilience, and teamwork. Under his guidance, many individuals have experienced notable successes, showcasing Coach Spencer's knowledge of sport and the ability to bring out the best in his players, beyond wins and losses. Coach Spencer's influence resonates through the personal growth and lasting connections he has nurtured, making him a respected and beloved figure in the Township High School community. Coach Lynn Smith was interviewed in 2016 in an article about his pending retirement later that season. He was quoted as saying, "Frank Spencer is the finest technician I've ever known." Coach Smith, thank you for that. When I speak to alum, whether it's from the 80s, 70s, our stories are all the same. The practices were definitely challenging, for sure. That's one thing I'll say, Coach. They were challenging. The schedule was packed, and even the scrimmage schedule was loaded. I had to check my memory the other day because I felt like we wrestled a quad on a school night, and I said, that doesn't make any sense. How can we wrestle a quad on a school night away at Delaware Valley? So I found a flyer from 1984. I have to say, hey, Echo, what day of the week was 12/19/1984? 12/19/1984 was a Wednesday. Sure enough, we went away to wrestle Del Val and quad with Cranford and West Guilford. And, not too many people were doing that kind of stuff. But Coach, thank you for going out of your way to make us better. We packed the schedule with teams like Del Val, Ridge, High Point. If they were in the top 5 and 10, you better believe they were on the schedule the next year. It wasn't happenstance, it was by design. So, Coach was always concerned for the comfort of his wrestlers. I just want you guys to know that. So don't empathize or sympathize with the fact that he ran tough practice. He always wanted us comfortable. He was always worried about whether the wrestling room would be warm enough for us. So we learned a trick, to keep us warm, so our muscles were not tight and we didn't get injured. If you took an ice pack and put it on the thermostat, it would keep the heat pumping the whole time, so we'd be comfortable. Coach, I thank you for that. It wasn't only about comfort, it was about safety. Right? Coach didn't want you going on the mat, not awake. Right? So, right before your match, Late in the third period, first before he's out there wrestling, he'd come grab you, shake your hand, give you a little pep talk, and that big mitt that looks like Yogi Berra's pension club came across, and you were wide awake going in there, fellas. Coach, I did check the statute of limitations. We're all good? We're good? We're good. All right. So this is the Pequannock Wrestling Hall of Fame, right? So Pequannock's coaching accomplishments with Coach Spencer at the helm. Head coach from 1975 to 1988. 113, 55, and 5. 5 team district championships, 3 league championships, 28 individual district champions, 8 state tournament qualifiers, and the 1984 sectional champs. Anybody in the sport knows, Gable's got a lot of great quotes, but I through my research, I found some that I think rival Dan Gable's, and they're from our own honoree tonight. All right. While not able to compete at Montclair State because he just transferred from Maritime, Coach Spencer was interviewed in circa 70-71 by the Montclairian. And when he spoke about wrestling, he said there's nothing more personal than wrestling. It becomes part of it. Something you don't leave behind in the gym after a match. The whole feeling is hard to put into words. That's kind of deep, Coach. I think you're right out of money with that. 1986, we lose the Caldwell in the regular season. Now we have to face them in the postseason sectional tournament. Coach was interviewed. He said, I'd like to get my good wrestlers against their good wrestlers. Trouble is, they have quite a few good wrestlers. You were right, Coach. They did. Also, regarding the people of this town, Coach Spencer said a good program is only as good as the people involved. And Pequannock's people are great. Coach, we're all here today because you were here for us back then. And, coaches do more than coach. You certainly epitomize that. No true words have been spoken. I've attended several Division I college matches with Coach Spencer. And, he's a humble man. He dresses conservatively. Like me, he's smaller in stature, so he doesn't attract a lot of attention when he walks in the room. But when we sit down and the wrestling starts, and they're in on a scramble or somebody's in on a leg, and they're having a tough time, he starts breaking it down. And out of my peripheral vision, I see people's heads start to turn because they know that it's this guy. He gets this and just broke it down for me like that. And I'm like, hey, it's my guy. Like I know he knows this, but you didn't know until he started talking. Coach, your dedication to students, athletes, and the student athlete is second to none. To remain relevant in anything for 60 years between competing and coaching is impressive, let alone the fluid sport of wrestling. Folks, sometimes the cream rises to the top, and that's what we have here tonight. Coach, collectively, we'd like to thank you for what you've done for thousands of Pequannock students, Pequannock wrestling, and what you still do after 40 years of coaching our sport of wrestling. Your legacy will always be guarded by this Hall of Fame committee as well as your wrestlers that I refer to as Spencer's Army. Coach, welcome to the Wrestling Hall of Fame, Pequannock. Please come up and sign.